family. Anyway, hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews doing my long overdue review for Fast X. Anyway, go to my retrospective for my thoughts on the Fast franchise. I've done a few of these reviews by now, so you kind of get an idea how I feel about the family at this point. Speaking of, let's get to this new entry to the franchise. And off the bat, not spoilers-wise, you can definitely tell they're aiming for a multi-parter. At the time, we all thought it was going to be a two-parter, but as I reported during the retrospective earlier this week, yeah, this might be a three-parter, and I could kind of see it. Yeah, even so. But we'll get to that in a minute. Stunts-wise, let's get that out of the way. It's about as usual when it comes to the Fast Saga, when it comes to everybody's, like, you know, cars and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you get a lot more Dom's Camaro, not Camaro, his Charger more than usual. The Beast, he usually used to call it in the old movies. So, I not think his son... this is going to be spoilers going on forward, so letting you know in 3, 2. Didn't think his son was going to Tokyo Drift it as his first driving lesson. I'm like 31 and I haven't done driving yet, but if I did, I probably would have done it like around like 15, 16. Not at 8, because, yeah, you get a lot of Dom's son, and for being a new entry to the franchise as an extension of the family, you can definitely tell the kid's here to stay. He's doing perfect, like, child acting for this franchise. Like, it's not too over the top. It's not too, you know, what usual criticisms are with child acting. It's actually kind of on the level, in my opinion. Your mileage may vary, obviously, as time goes on for the rest of this movie, because let's just get this out of the way. Also, yeah, Jason Momoa as Dante. He is basically the villain of the franchise they've been needing since at least 5. And there is a good reason for that, because this movie will be doing a lot of callbacks to 5, even in the opening. Mostly retconny kind of stuff, like actually using previous footage and mirroring with it as well. Like, as the Tokusatsu fan here, it's kind of like basically the Fast Family equivalent of like stitching together like Sentai footage with new footage. That's kind of how I see it with the stock footage from 5. It's kind of like that. It gives me that kind of Tokusatsu brain to me to go there. Also, I was planning to make this part of a DC review, but the more and more I've seen Dante just cackly laugh like a hyena, it does give you that, like, wild, like, I'm gonna do everything you never thought a villain could do in this franchise kind of moves. But his laugh is very jokery, like most people are probably saying in the early reviews. But in my opinion, it kind of reminds me of Assault Biker. Full disclosure, I watch his channel, I watch his Twitch content. He is a very, not prolific, but very, important content creator for the space when it comes to Twitch and stuff like that. Good debater. I'm not gonna fault him there. That all being said, that's my stance on the guy. I think he's okay. I don't know, he is a little hardcore sometimes, but other than that, he's not everyone else he talks about kind of hardcore. There is a threshold, and Hassan has that threshold. Now, the reason why I mentioned him in the laugh department with Dante, he basically sounds like that when he plays, like, Resident Evil and other, like, scary games and like, stuff like that on his Twitch account. If there's a compilation to any of his, I guess, fan channels here on YouTube, I'll probably leave there for, like, how he, like, just freaks out on horror games. It is, like, 1-to-1, exactly like Dante's laugh throughout this movie. Now, that being said, oh my god, Jason Momoa just, like, chews the scenery like I think even Charlize could never do since, like, 8 in her case. Speaking of, I was kind of half right that she might be teaming up with Letty as, like, their version of a Hobbs and Shaw kind of scenario. And that is definitely going to show in Fast 11, or whatever they're going to be calling these next 2 movies. Yeah, there was also a surprise of 2 returns. I'll get to that in the spoilers as well. Anyway, the rest of the cast is basically on autopilot and / going on side quest kind of stuff, because, like, basically, Han, Tess, played by, obviously, Brie Larson, they're both in separate objectives. In Han's case, he's trying to keep Rome and everybody else in line because, yeah, someone had the bright idea of having Roman lead a mission for once. Yeah, that's kind of where all the, like, dissension went down there. And, bumping from Rome to Paris made a lot of sense there. Mainly in London's case because, yeah, you get to have him squash the beef with Jason Statham's Deckard Shaw. So, yeah, the 2 of them did have a pretty short scene, pretty much squashing the beef, and by short scene, I mean pretty much the action scenes you saw in the trailers, same thing there too. However, it's more extended, it has more callbacks to actually the post-credit in F9, if you can believe that, so part of my review there. Other than that, what do I say about Ella Richardson's Ames and Little Nobody by Scott Eastwood? Basically, they had a lot more agency implications. The whole point of that was, Mr. Nobody's like, shadowy, we don't really have a name, but we're gonna call it an agency kind of thing. The whole thing with them is that they're just now finally saying, well, we got a new guy in charge, we don't trust Dom from day one, so what if we just start doing that manhunt we've been wanting to do since 5? Most of them said yes, and obviously Tess said no, and most of her action scenes is basically recruiting Lady back into the fray after getting caught early on after Dante's premiere action set piece. So now you're probably wondering where John Cena's Jacob is throughout all this. Long story short, he's just doing, like I said in the trailers, yeah, he's basically trying to be the cool uncle while doing, like, you know, basic protective detail for Little P, Little Brian in this case, so yeah. For Leo Emmanuel Perry, if I got the kid's name right, like I said, he is way too good for this franchise. Like, he's already doing the, like, the car techno babble, like, right out of the gate, unless, like, they were really, like, unless he's good at the ADR booth and everyone else usually. I don't really know. Again, kid acting, sometimes you get a win, sometimes you don't. In Cena's case, the only time he was actually doing the huge set pieces was, like I said in the trailers, was like the house stuff when Little Brian almost got nabbed, and most of the cannon car stuff. There was like that Hobbs and Shaw kind of like scene where like they're just hanging out in the airport, just waiting around, getting their next set piece ready, and that's where most of the comedy was there on Jacob's end. So it's just a lot of catching up and a lot of 90s nostalgia, which makes sense because, you know, he did get drag raced away from LA back in the 90s in F9 in that retcon, so that kind of makes sense to line it up back there, if anything else. New addition, and my apologies if I got her name wrong, this actress, sorry, my bad, was in James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Yeah, someday I'm going to do a retro review of it. Long story there. In the lead up to his new DC universe. It's the actress that played Ratcatcher 2, Daniela Menes. It's very French, sorry to say. But, yeah, another cool thing there, and this is where we're getting into the spoilers, she's actually the sister of Elena. Elena was Thor's wife. Yeah, Elizabeth Bigitney. My apologies if I got even that name wrong. The only touchstone I've known of her post, I want to say F8 or Fast 6, was obviously her standalone Under Siege action vehicle she was trying to do for Netflix. So final cards there in case anything else. Ultimately, where's Helen Mirren most of this? Where's Ramsey most of this? Again, a lot of London scenes are going to be Queenie just laying low probably for the next movie as well. Same for Shaw. After his action set piece with Han, he's going to also lay low till Fast 11 or F11. No one know they're going to call it F11. Anyway, as for Cypher and Letty, yeah, they're teaming up. You could definitely tell in their action set piece that, one, they had to get their, get their drama to add together, and then they have to go back to doing, I guess, unheisting themselves out of a maximum security prison in a black site. Other than that, that's pretty much all the set pieces I could remember off the top of my head. This is my first viewing, just letting you know. I just saw these yesterday in theaters. And because this is taking on its debut weekend as of this recording, I don't know the full figures, but knowing the history of this Fast franchise, it'll make a healthy amount. It'll be over what is their estimated budget. If I can find it. Yeah, their estimated budget is $340 million. For debut, worldwide, I don't know exactly. If I had to put a lowball estimate, I'm going to say 150, and then it'll just grow from there, given the popularity of the franchise. The biggest elephant in the room before we get to the final cards and spoilers, the director was Louis Leterrier, not Justin Lin. Justin Lin was reportedly supposed to be here for the first couple of weeks of shooting, but just said, screw it, I'm going to go from here on out. Lewis, in this case, did some... Oh, okay. So he did 2 good movies and 2 weird ones. He did Clash of Titans for the weird one, and The Incredible Hulk, go to my retro review there. Again, like I said, if I had time for the cards. And the first Transporter, so you got a lot of connections with him and Jason Statham, so you can definitely tell he has moved on. That style of storytelling, you can tell in, like, Statham's case, that they both work together pretty well in his action set piece. Like, you could tell there was an evolution of Transporter vibes now looking into it. So yeah, should you see Fast X, if you're a fan of, like, where the series got good, like, from F5 on, it's a good callback, it's a good level header to that. Like, if F9, it was a good love letter to Tokyo Drift, like getting Han back, getting like most of the weird stuff, like most of like the space and everything. Yeah, they went to space last movie. This is very grounded as far as the action set pieces go. The Rome debut for Dante is very good, very wild. You can definitely tell it. Momoa is having the most fun being this character. You could tell he's doing everything that he can. So before I get to my final scores, let's get the first obvious 2 reveals out of the way. One of them, much like Black Adam, everyone kind of saw coming when some sort of, I don't know, internet leak showed up. The week before this movie came out, yeah, Luke is back, Lucas Hobb is back, Rock is back, and he is embracing his grays, I guess, for his character. I don't know in real life, honestly, but yeah, throughout the whole movie, Dante had like this whole saw trap kind of like look at your life, kind of like collage projectors, just showing like most of the franchise, where a lot of the Easter eggs are going to be for anybody who wants to find Easter eggs in this franchise. Go ahead, it's not going to be much. It's mostly going to be like remembering Paul Walker kind of stuff. You could tell. And Luke said perspective is like, yeah, I'm going to get this son of a bitch somehow. So again, you're going to get full wrestling era Rock, hopefully in F11 if anything else. Second, mostly before we get to the post-creds, Gal's back. Yeah, I'm not kidding. So like I said, that black side I said earlier with Cypher and Letty, long story short, is in Argentina, and the last time they were in Argentina was doing submarine set pieces in 8. And somehow, some way, they got Giselle back. I don't know how, but they did. And business-wise, it's probably because DC's not doing Gal Gadot any favors, and I could kind of see it going forward in Gal's case, but anyway, that's all the spoilers. So my overall rating, it's slightly above. If I remember my rating from F9, I might have left it at a straight 8 or a straight 9, more or less. Here, I'm going to go with an 8.5 out of 10 because it's good, but you can definitely tell there's like moments and scenes where they're trying to set up the next couple of movies for this finale trilogy. And I'm very happy that they're going to take their time trying to pace out everybody else. The ending of the movie is a dead stop, like everyone probably said in their non-spoilers reviews. You could definitely tell where the stop is. I won't spoil that much, other than the 2 biggest reveals so far. That's really where I stand. Will I be here for the next 2 movies? Yes, obviously, to finish this trilogy. And will we be doing more retrospectives for the whole franchise as a whole? Yes, and like the last time, I'm trying to do my best to get my actual friends who are hardcore fans of this franchise, and even myself, to do their full retrospective from 6 through 7, or maybe 6 through 9, if anything else, or maybe, again, like I said, 6 through 10, see their version of this review of anything else, their perspective of anything. So with that all being said, and planning out ahead, normally I have like real Nerf gear and stuff like that. I kind of want to keep this brief before I go to work. So hands here to to sub the channel, shirt here, gear as always, notification bell down below for more fast content. Previous video here, which was my retrospective of the franchise so far, leading up to 5. Other hand here to my shorts content, which I will be doing probably another Critical Role recap for episode 59, because yes, I'm very much aware of all the new characters. I won't spoil much until I get to the short. So with that all being said, take care, subscribe. This is Retrokid Reviews, and okay, Vin, that's the start of a trilogy. So you got Giselle back. You're gonna do Brian. You're gonna recast him finally. Are you good? Is it good? Also, was in Jason Momoa's case, were you going for a sound biker? Because that's all I heard in that Joker Rush laugh. I can't be the only one, right?